EED6001 Contemporary Issues in Education and Training, Assessment 1 Poster Presentation by April and Tom. Within our overall topic of differentiated instruction, our research project is aiming to focus on whether it is more beneficial to group students by ability within the classroom or to group students of mixed abilities. Throughout the presentation, we will discuss and investigate whether student learning is improved through skillful implementation of differentiated instruction in mixed ability classes or by streaming students of a similar ability. We will also look at the benefits and disadvantages of both class groupings, effective differentiation strategies, and the effect that a differentiated classroom has on student performance and teacher practice. Differentiation in the classroom is set to provide each student with the opportunity to learn, acquire new knowledge effectively, and develop essential life skills. This is achieved mainly through active and continuous teacher planning that look to engage each student through the different ways they learn, how willing they are to learn, and caters to their interests. With such a wide range of abilities within traditional classrooms, many teachers find implementing differentiated instruction difficult and time-consuming, particularly in areas such as lesson planning, preparation of materials and activities, assessment, and classroom management. How differentiation is interpreted and implemented within schools is also a barrier to effective practice. The term is often misunderstood within schools, meaning the practice is implemented without clarity and teachers feel a lack of support to do so. Student streaming by ability may make teaching practice easier by reducing planning time and focusing on one set of students. But the larger question to consider is if it is beneficial for all students to be grouped and learn in this way.
In recent decades, students have been grouped into classes based on their ages, which makes classroom diverse. Students are also grouped based on their ability levels, skills, or accomplishment, which is known as ability grouping. Now, let's have a look of some advantages and disadvantages of this type of classroom. Kim indicates teachers' and students' perceptions of ability grouping. The study was at Korean middle schools' English classrooms, and that involves 6 different regions. For teachers, when their students are at the same level, it doesn't take very long time for them to prepare lessons for a class. They provide reasonable lessons for different levels and implement appropriate class activities. However, this type of class also gives teachers some difficulties, such as preparing different materials for many different levels. Moreover, low-level group is likely to come with discipline problems, which may make teachers being stressed, and they prefer to avoid teaching low-level learners because of the difficulties in managing classrooms, turning into students. What benefits they gain for being grouped in this type of class are receiving appropriate speed of covering new lessons, developing motivation in competitive environment with similar level students, meeting new friends and teachers, as well as reaching higher academic achievement. On the other hand, here are some drawbacks that they mentioned, mainly are from low-level group of students. They feel like teachers only respect high group learners, and that leads to low self-confidence because they think they are not smart enough so that they are grouped in this level. Thirdly, is the lack of participation in class because of the unorganized learning atmosphere. For example, one pupil said that my classmates are all loud and they never concentrate on what we are doing in class, so I tend to follow the class atmosphere. Lastly, is the uncomfortable feeling when learning with children from different classes or ages.
The benefits and disadvantages of grouping students of mixed abilities. The benefits of grouping students of mixed abilities within one class include teachers shifting their thinking from covering curriculum to a more continually evolving way of addressing individual learner needs. Mixed ability classes are based on inclusive practice and embrace the role of guiding students to investigate rather than conveying explicit information. They allow each student to engage with new information and develop new skills. It promotes autonomy in learning and provides greater learning opportunities through high level and low level students sharing information together. For example, higher level students can explain information to other students, while low level students gain this information being explained by their peers. Some of the disadvantages of mixed ability grouping include that teachers spend large amounts of time focusing on one group of students, so high and low achieving students can become disillusioned or bored because schoolwork is too challenging or easy. The curriculum is too rushed to cover all students' needs. Teachers limit their pedagogical and assessment strategies to manage a heavy workload. High achieving students can become frustrated when trying to assist lower achieving students. And students can end up categorising themselves as learners against other students, which results in underlying learning groups forming. This can also result in conflict when students at different ability levels work together. However, it should be noted that the impact that expectations and bias of one individual teacher has on students in a mixed ability class is highly significant and varies between teachers and schools. For example, if a teacher has high expectations of high achievers, those students might get advantages and extension tasks over low achieving students, as a teacher may have lower expectations of those students, limiting their learning opportunities.
It has been consistently debated on how classroom or students in classes should be organized. In curricular differentiation, there are 5 types of grouping students. They are school type, course of study, streaming, ability grouping, and geographic location. Various types of grouping students occur because of the recognition of their differences, and that is for maximizing their learning outcomes. Nevertheless, it is still an accepted fact that any of the two students having exactly the identical studying needs is not possible. Therefore, to meet the needs of students who are all unique, implementing proper differentiated instruction could be a reasonable solution to this issue. Carol Ann Tomlinson, who is well known for her work with differentiated instruction, points out that differentiated instruction provides a conceptual model centered on the learning of individual students through a set of structured processes. Now, you might think of advantages and drawbacks of this approach. Research on the effectiveness of differentiation indicates that this comprehensive pedagogical approach contributes to students' learning tremendously, but its disadvantages to students is noted to be difficult to measure. Tomlinson states that modifying instruction for learners of differing eagerness and curiosities is more comfortable, enchanting, and inviting for students. Just like when children make their own decision about what outfit they prefer to wear, such as styles, they feel more comfortable, and that gives expression to the development of their personalities. How about the impacts does this differentiated instruction have on teachers? Do you think would that be the same as it has on students? Unfortunately, it is said that although educators agree that they should teach and treat their students as individuals, they experience the challenge of doing so because of their classes are full of many unalike students. Moreover, many schools lack resources in properly training and developing teachers in designing differentiation activities. Therefore, many instructors have not mastered implementing differentiated instruction, and they, specifically inexperienced teachers, feel unprepared for doing this. To master in this, much more extra time in planning lessons is required, which some teachers may struggle to find extra hours in their schedule.
In terms of ethical considerations and differentiated instruction, undertaking the practice in the classroom is part of the duty of care that a teacher has to their students. Documents such as the AITL standards and Department of Education practice principles and HITs outline how differentiated instruction is a key component of the daily professional duty of a teacher. As you can see on this slide, there are several standards and principles directly relating to implementing differentiation within practice. Maintaining these standards allows teachers to meet the specific learning needs of individual students and assist them in achieving their goals and extending knowledge. So, in summary, there are obvious advantages and disadvantages to both types of class groupings as discussed. While streaming classes by ability may present obvious benefits to high achievers, there are significant drawbacks for students in low achieving or middle ground classes. Segregation of students and labelling them into categories, such as advanced or foundation classes, and basing these categorisations off a test result or behaviour, can replicate social inequality commonly seen for low SES or ethnically diverse students. Differentiation implemented correctly within schools and mixed ability classes capitalises on this classroom diversity. By recognising and valuing the different skills, knowledge, and interests that students have because of their diversity, students of all ability levels can be engaged within the same classroom environment. So, if we look to answer our original project question, the idea that when differentiation is implemented correctly, based on the above and previous discussion, all students do benefit more from being grouped in mixed ability classes. And finally, the implications of this project on future practice and research, however, lies in how differentiation is applied within schools. It is not done well in schools currently, and the term itself is interpreted in different ways by different educators. Improving these outcomes, improving professional practice of teachers, and giving teachers more resources and agency to implement the practice can raise the standards of differentiated instruction within Australian schools. Thank you for watching.